Welcome to the DAZN Boxing Show, brought to you by DraftKings. We are in New York City, just wrapped up the Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia press conference. That fight will take place here in the Big Apple April 20th. But more urgently, this weekend, we've got the return of Amanda Serrano fighting in her home city. Alongside me, Todd Grisham, we've got Ak, we've got Barack. Amanda Serrano taking on Nina Minka. I'm not even going to tell you the odds because it's embarrassing. Serrano is supposed to destroy this girl, but Barack, Amanda has not gotten a knockout in, 7 fights now? Where's the power gone?
I don't think that's fair to say. You know, first of all, she's a legend, and that's why the odds are like they are. But if you think about the Heather Hardy fight, should that fight have gotten stopped?
Probably.
Okay,
in
so
the first round.
She could have stopped her. And Heather Hardy's a big girl. And the last fight, that girl's never been knocked out, Ramos. Right. She's never been knocked out, so not everybody can be knocked out. You know, and then think about this. As Serrano's getting older, she's fighting at 140, 115, 135. It's tough to maintain power and stamina fighting all of those different weights. So I don't want to blame it on that. I say one fight could have been stopped and one fight, maybe Ramos can't get knocked out.
And obviously she hurt Katie Taylor in that fight. It was an epic fight, right? Katie got the win, but she showed power against a woman in Katie Taylor who's a warrior, right? So the power's still there. It's not going to happen every time. Cruz did go toe-to-toe with her, but she has an iron chin. It's not always going to happen.
Well, I did get to talk to Amanda last week, and she said, listen, don't worry about it. We're going for the gusto this week. And she says she's not getting the knockouts because fighters aren't coming at her. They're backing away. So MVP Promotions put a $20,000 bonus in Minka's contract if she knocks out Amanda Serrano. So hopefully that spurs her to come forward more to face Amanda. But look, there's going to be 18,000 people there. This is a showcase fight for Amanda. And she says she's feeling a lot of pressure to deliver, sort of like Canelo felt when he fought John Ryder in his hometown of Guadalajara.
Yeah, trust me. Look, I'm Puerto Rican, right? So I know what those fans are all about over there. First off, they're very prideful. They love Amanda. Even in a loss in Katie Taylor, they were waiting in Puerto Rico for her with open arms because she's such a warrior. But even though she's a heavy favorite, yes, Todd, there's going to be pressure on Amanda because she doesn't want to go the distance with this woman, right? She wants to knock her out. That doesn't, it's not, even though you're in your hometown, you got family, people wanting tickets, there's always that added pressure. There's a lot of pressure on Amanda to deliver.
I mean, I like the idea of giving a $20,000 bonus if you can knock her out, but you got to say in your mind, can I really do it? Do I knock people out? I got 4 knockouts and 18 wins. Can I knock out this person who nobody can even hurt?
Maybe she really needs that extra $20,000. No, she might try it.
No, because you want to win. Because this can change your life right here. You want to win. So you're not going to go for a knockout if you're not a knockout artist. So if Devin Haney had a $5 million bonus if you could knock out Ryan Garcia, that doesn't mean he's going to change his game plan.
Probably
right?
for $5 million.
Well,
no, he's not going to change a game plan no matter what.
18 wins for Heather Minka, only 4 coming by knockout. As far as Amanda Serrano is concerned, we want to see her in those mega fights. The fight here in New York that she had with Katie Taylor that you brought up, maybe the best event and most electrifying crowd I've ever been a part of. And I worked at WWE for a while with The Rock, who's the most electrifying man in show business.
Damn.
What do you think that crowd's going to be like in Puerto Rico? Not just half the audience cheering for her like here in New York, but the whole 18,000.
It's going to be epic. They're all boxing fans. And yes, I agree with you. Barack and I always say that Katie-Amanda fight was the best event we've ever been to. It's going to be that type of vibe, but one-sided, obviously. So I do think Amanda scores a knockout. And I don't like to make predictions right this early. I usually wait for Friday, the day before the fight, after the weigh-in. But that crowd is going to uplift that woman. And there's no way that fight is going a distance.
I mean, I think Jake Paul is really bringing the fans in, in Puerto Rico, because that's his home. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, it's going to be insane. It's going to be, because remember, what was that, April 30th? A couple of years ago when they fought in Madison Square Garden, I couldn't hear myself think. I couldn't hear Puerto Ricans were very loud that day.
Like a World Cup game.
Now Irish fans are crazy too now. But the Puerto Ricans were very loud that day, so I can't imagine how it's going to be in Puerto Rico.
The ref couldn't hear the bell during
That's true.
That's so
true.
Jake does call himself El Gallito de Dorado now. Like he's really taking on that Puerto Rican residency. So
for tax reasons.
Well, stop putting his business out there.
Yeah, let's talk about Jake. I actually asked him last week on the call. You live in Puerto Rico. You say you're from Puerto Rico, and the interest is, do you feel Puerto Rican? He goes, not until I learn Spanish. He says, not until I learn Spanish, I would say I feel Puerto Rican. But I love the country. I'm very excited to be on this card. And the first thing that comes to mind when you think Jake Paul isn't the word humble, but for him to say, I'm going to be the co-main event.
Yes.
I'm going to let you be featured here,
Yes.
and I'm just going to be, kind of in the shadows. That says a lot about Jake Paul and what he's trying to do for women's boxing.
It does. It does say humility, but it also says a good promoter. It says a good businessman. I mean, you're promoting her for a reason. So do you need her in your shadow all the time if you're promoting her when she's the star and you're not? She's the champion, rather, and you're not? This is Puerto Rico. This is her land. They loved her. She's making millions of just endorsements and sponsorships in Puerto Rico. Yeah. Obviously, she's the one that needs to be on the forefront. And I think that's just smart business. Like, this is my fighter. I got to showcase her.
Yeah, and not to mention that he also makes money from Amanda, right? She is signed to MVP Promotions, so he wants to uplift her as much as possible. You mentioned what he's doing for women's boxing. I mean, what he's done for Amanda, I'm grateful to him for that because I know she was fighting for $3,000, $4,000 after being world champion. You know what that is? So what he's done for her is amazing. Yeah. And I hope that it trickles down to more women, right? I hope that he gives opportunity to more talented women in boxing.
I thought he was going to say trickle down to you.
Yeah,
hope it trickles down to our pockets.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's great the fact, just forget 10 years ago, if Amanda Serrano was fighting in her home country, she might get, 2,500 fans? Right. But now we got Katie Taylor talking about selling out Croke Park. Yes. We got Amanda Serrano selling out 18,000. They've done it at MSG. Women's boxing is on the rise for sure. Let's talk about that co-main event. Jake Paul taking on Ryan Borland. If you don't know much about him, he quit boxing for 2 years ago to maybe take a job that's harder than boxing. He's been drilling oil wells in North Dakota. He says, I'm that kind of tough guy. I'm coming right after Jake Paul. I've got more experience than him. I think I'm stronger than him, and I'm sure as hell not going to get knocked out in the first round like Andre August did.
Well, drilling, oil pays well. It's not, you don't have to be that tough, right? They pay a good check. Look, the guy doesn't have major power, right? I mean, Jake's shown that he can take a punch. Anderson Silva landed some good punches. Tyron Woodley landed some good punches. I think it's safe to say Jake has a good chin, right? So I don't see anything dangerous happening to Jake in this fight. I like his route of wanting to fight the regular boxer that people have been complaining about. He did it last time, big knockout. People were complaining about. But look how he fought. He was 10-1. Now this is a guy with more wins, right? And if you watch the eyeball test, he seems even more experienced, like a better boxer than the last one. So Jake is just trying to prove to the people, this is what you guys wanted, right? I'm fighting boxers.
Is that what you wanted?
Now what?
Is this what you wanted to see?
I mean, no. I mean,
you want him to fight those big flashy fights with MMA guys? Or you like this?
I'm okay with that because I know boxing, and I know that you can't ask a guy that just started boxing a few years ago with 5, 6 fights to fight Canelo or fight big names. It doesn't make sense because all of those big names, when they had 4 and 5 fights, they weren't fighting big stars. When you talk about a guy like Anderson Silva, he beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. These are the things that people don't talk about. So even though those fights were dangerous, people didn't like it. Now he's talking. Now he's fighting boxers. What people
he's
wanted.
Speaking your language now, Brock. Right? He's like, I've only had 8, 9 fights. I'm going to build my way up the rankings.
That makes sense. First of all, I didn't hear nothing he said after he talked about drilling oil. You don't have to be that tough. When the last time you drilled some damn oil? Stop that, man. This kid is a tough guy. The only thing I don't agree with Borland saying is how do you know you're stronger? First of all, you're not some knockout artist. And if Jake is knocking out guys like MMA stars, if he's knocking out guys like Tyron Woodley, maybe you're not the stronger fighter. I don't know. But that's just what he's telling himself to get him confident enough. But I don't know if he's the stronger.
They're not giving him no extra money, right, to try to land a knockout.
I don't have that information, but I'm sure
that would be smart.
But I'm sure Jake wants someone to come at him. He doesn't want someone to fight scared. I mean, but he needs work. Let's be honest. He needs to go in the later rounds. Tommy Fury at least gave him some work. These guys that are coming up and he's knocking them out in the first round, he said, I'm not going to predict the first round knockout for Borland, but I'm going to get him in 2. So he thinks he's going to knock him out by the end of the second round. By the way, Ryan Borland, if he wins this, it's the biggest win for someone from North Dakota since Virgil Hill. Virgil Hill from North Dakota.
Oh, my God.
So what a win this would be for Ryan Borland.
Maybe because there's only been 2 fighters from North Dakota.
Hey,
maybe that's why.
Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. Let's talk now. What do you have to expect from Jake Paul? What do you want to see from him that lets you say, man, this guy's trajectory is more and more closer to what we would see from a legitimate boxer trying to make his way in the way?
Well, I want to see some technicality. I want to see him not get hit with stupid punches he shouldn't get hit with. I want to see him not rush things like he has in other fights. I want to see him stick to his jab and just show that he knows how to pick his punches rather than just rush the guy.
Yeah,
just because the guy is not that technical. And I think because you see a guy like that, you're going to probably jump on him like he did Diaz.
Yeah, I think natural progression is what I expect to see, right? He has Jalen Love in his corner, who has a lot of experience in the sport. I want to see him get better every fight. You know, Jake has a great right hand, right? He's shown that. And when you watch him training, he throws a good left hook in training and in sparring. I want to see more of the left hook in the ring. But to land a right left hook, you have to be in the right position. So to Barack's point, with the jab, being in the right distance to land those big shots, I need to see a little bit more of that.
I know you guys are excited to see Jake Paul and Amanda Serrano in action, but I know there's one other fighter on the card that you can't wait to see back in between the circle.
Yeah, you know, Javon Walton. Reason why I like this kid, for one, look, we all know he was on a very popular show on HBO, very good actor, right? But he never let boxing go. His father, DJ, super strict. Those guys never stopped working. And I watched the kid since he was about 8, 9 years old, fighting, getting better, winning amateur tournaments, and this is his big stage. It's different from the screen. That's all scripted. This is not scripted in that ring. So I'm dying to see what he's going to do on his pro debut.
Okay, prediction time. You don't like to make predictions, but would you want to go on record and say you want to take Micah and Borland in a parlay that would probably pay $1 million for $100?
Well, I have $20,000 that I could put on Micah for first round knockout. I might win $7 million.
Yeah, that's your chance. You'd be a legend.
No.
All right.
I am not betting against Amanda Serrano at all, and even Jake Paul at this quality of fighter. But then again, Jake Paul could get sloppy in there. You never know.
So
But
put some money up
I
there.
wouldn't bet against Jake. No, Jake, I think he has power in both hands. I think you're right about that. I think he has a strong right hand, and he has a strong left.